awesome Facebook ads. If you can hear me, if you can see these slides, I would love it if you typed where you're coming in from today, maybe a fun fact like what was your most recent meal? I would love to hear that in the questions box. Just look for the little question mark, click on that, then you can type some things, and then if you do it, I will be able to see it. Everyone will be able to see it. Jasmine Brown had some sweet potatoes coming in from Virginia. We've got Eliza, Jackie, Kristen, Vicky, also from Illinois, just like I am, coming in from Chicago. Coming in from Alaska today, we have a real treat of a speaker today. Six-figure Christian suspense author Alana Terry, also a teacher, also a coach, also a mom, and a very, very nice person. Alana, I'm very glad to have you here today.
Hey, I'm excited. Thank you so much, Brian.
Of course, of course. I want to sing your praises a little more. So, Alana and I know each other from a few years back. Alana and I have always had kind of like online chat, and then we've gotten to see each other at a couple of events, which has been wonderful. And Alana's always just so nice. But I think one of the points I want to bring up about Alana is that you just love to share what you learn. When you learn it, you're not the kind of person who's keeping it under your hat. You're not the kind of person who's like being sneaky with it. You are, you share it in like public posts on the 20 books to 50K group. And I think that just shows this understanding that we're all in this author boat together. And I love that you have embodied that with the kind of teaching you've done in your courses, in your masterminds, and even publicly. So I really and truly appreciate that, and the fact that you're going to teach everybody today. I really appreciate that about you.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you for allowing me to be here just because, like you said, I love the sharing and the teaching side of it. It gets me super excited, super pumped up. So thanks for the
Okay.
chance to share some of the knowledge.
Of course. And I did just want to let everybody know we have Quinn, we have Mary, and we have Shautona and myself all in the chat ready to help answer your questions during, so that Alana can focus on the teaching, and then we will have a question and answer session at the end. I'm just looking for fun meals here. We had some Chick-fil-A from Michelle. We had some barbecue from Demetrius. I'm jealous. And a lovely glass of chilled wine from Dion. And many, many, many other people who can hear us, who can see us, which means we are ready to rock. I'm going to turn things over to you, Alana, and I'll pop back in a couple times when you need me. But are you ready?
I am ready. Thanks so much, Brian. Let's dive in. So, welcome to everybody here, and welcome and thanks to Brian for such a fabulous introduction. I want to encourage you guys to be paying attention. Don't shut your eyes. You're about to learn in this training how to set up your first or your next Facebook ad. We're going to go over the images, the text, the headlines that are going to get you the most sales. We're going to talk especially why Facebook ads are working better now than ever before, even though we're in the midst of this funny pandemic and people are worried about recessions and things. It is an amazing time to be running Facebook ads. So let's jump right in. What you can expect out of today's training is the most helpful Facebook ads training you've ever attended. That really is my goal right here. And like Brian said, I love to teach, and my promise and goal is always to over deliver what your expectations are. I'm going to share with you templates for creating the best headlines, the best ad text, the type of ads that are going to get you the most clicks, the highest engagement, which of course is going to lead to the most sales. We're going to go into tips on your Facebook ad images that are going to save you tons of time and money, whether you're a newbie or an expert. None of what I'm sharing with you today is going to involve like hours in Photoshop or Canva. For those of you who don't love the math and the numbers, we're not talking spreadsheets either. My goal is really to take things that can be a little intimidating, like the Facebook ads dashboard, and make them as simple as possible. So we're really going to break it down step by step. We're going to go into audience options spelled out for you by genre, which I think will be great. I'm not seeing chat right now, but if you want to throw in some of the genres you've got when we get to that point, Brian can tell me if there are specific genres here so I can make sure to address some of the audience options that you can do. So real quick, again, like I said, one of my goals is to make things as simple as possible. I want to show you the 3 steps to access your Facebook ads dashboard if you've never done it before. A lot of people are going to have Facebook pages already, but this is the steps you go through. If you don't, over in your sidebar, you're going to see something that says pages. You set up your page as a community or public figure. That's what you are as an author. And then basically, once you've set up your page, all you've got to do is click the create button on top and click add. So I just wanted to run through that to get everybody up to speed. And again, to show we're not talking about things where you need a rocket science degree or anything like that. And during this whole training, it's going to go this in depth. It's going to go click this button, don't click that button. You guys are going to get replays. So just let's jump right in. But starting before that, we're going to share a little story. So this is the part of the time where you guys pull up your little carpet square. Here is a story. This is my dog, Kitty, and the story begins with once upon a time. So once upon a time, as a homeschooling mom of 3, I dreamed of becoming a real author. I wrote my first novel, even won several awards, but I had to work a side job just to pay for cover design and edits. So let me know in chat, anybody here, I have heard authors doing amazing things to pay for their cover designs or their edits. I even heard of an author at the 20 Books conference who sold their own plasma in order to get their book professionally ready to publish. I know that you guys know exactly what I'm talking about here. Sadly, and this was a really frustrating part, the more books I wrote, the less money I had left over at the end of each month. And I sometimes wondered what it would feel like to have enough money to support my book business, my book dream, really, and my family at the same time. But the dream seemed very, very impossible. And again, I know a lot of people here can relate to that. So let me tell you what I did when I got discouraged and my dream seemed so impossible. Here is the exact step-by-step of what I did next. I decided to give up. I ate way too much ice cream, and I felt really stupid for having that dream in the first place. Thankfully, I've got an amazing husband who gave me the pep talk to beat all pep talks. And truly, guys, I wish I could like package up my husband, Scott, here and bottle up the motivation that he gave me with this pep talk. He said, if you give up now on your dream, you're never going to stop wondering what might have happened. But if you keep at it and you don't lose heart, there is no way you won't become incredibly successful. And then the last thing he told me was, the reason you were given that dream is so you could go out and find a way to make it happen. So after our talk, I decided that it was time to take charge of my own success. I decided that I couldn't afford to wait for someone else to give me permission to have a vibrant, successful author career. And I finally learned how to run ads. And here's a picture that shows you why that was the best decision I ever made for my author business. So this is my royalties from my books, just month to month. You can see here was my very first BookBub deal way back in 2014. I feel like a grandma. Then you can see I had a couple years where I was continuing to write more and more and more books, and my numbers were not growing at all. In 2016, I found a couple promotion tools that worked okay, like PermaFree, so you can see a little bit of an increase here. And then basically what happened was in 2017, I had one BookBub deal, this box set, and I decided that I was going to invest the money that I got from those box set sales and learn ads. So that's how you can see, and 2 months later, things started to pick up. And then you could see they're just going up and up and up. So once I started running Facebook ads, my husband no longer had to work a second job just to make ends meet. I was able to pay off both our cars. It was such a cool feeling. And then soon the income from book sales was enough to pay for covers and edits, plus the utilities for our house, and then insurance, then groceries. We've got 3 boys, preteen through teen years. Groceries are super expensive up here in Alaska. So it was a stinking big deal to kind of reach each one of these milestones. Another amazing benefit from Facebook ads is all of the confidence I gained, confidence I didn't even know that I had. If you guys were to like meet me as a teenager in high school, I was the quietest, shyest, most unassuming person that you could imagine. There is no way that I would have pictured myself standing here talking to hundreds of authors about how to make money and make their dreams come true. And it truly was these Facebook ads that kind of got me on this path of just increased confidence, which turned into sort of this spiral of success, right? So you do one small thing and get a little success, so you get a little more confident, and so the next time you're willing to try a little harder and put a little more of yourself out there, and that's successful. And so you just keep increasing your level of success, and that's the confidence that I want to share with you today. Enough about me though, guys. Let's talk about what Facebook ads can do for you. Facebook ads are going to help you find readers who are excited to read books just like yours. We're going to go really deep into audience targeting options, and I'm going to show you how easy it is, no matter what genre you write and no matter how sub-niche your genre is. I'm going to show you how to find the readers who are looking for books exactly like yours. Facebook ads give you the means to advertise to a nearly infinite audience with ads that work for years. And so once you find things that work, they're just going to keep on working for you. Facebook ads allow you to engage with readers, and they allow you to engage with readers who are willing to pay full price, so you don't have to rely on free or 99 cents unless you really want to. And that's a very encouraging and empowering thing too. So in today's training, yes, I want to show you how to set up Facebook ads, but even more so, I want you to feel encouraged and inspired and empowered to know that you can take charge of your own book success as well. So some people say the Facebook Ads Manager dashboard is intimidating. I'm going to show you, again, the step by step to make sure that you know, broken down, exactly what to do when you're in this ads dashboard so that it's not going to feel intimidating by the time we're done with this training. So let's start with a real quick vocab lesson. So every single ad you create is separated into 3 parts in your Ads Manager dashboard. You've got your campaign, your ad set, and your ad. And I feel like if you get in your mind the difference between these 3 parts, you're like 60% done with the mental work it takes to get over being intimidated by this ads dashboard. So the campaign is where you tell Facebook what the goal is for your ad. There are tons of campaign options, but today we're just focusing on the type of campaign called a traffic ad. The goal is just to get people to click on a link that's going to take them to your Amazon sales page. The ad set is where you set your budget and your audience. This is how you tell Facebook who to show your ads to. This is how you can find that group of people who are so excited about your specific book, and you can get so granular in who you target and really create that tribe of enthusiastic readers who are looking for books just like yours. And then in the ad section, that's kind of what you would think of as the ad. It's what the reader on Facebook sees. It's the image and the text and the headline that's going to get them to click on your ad, which is going to take them to your Amazon sales page and get them to buy your book. So how are we doing, Brian? You want to fill me in on chats that are coming in? Does anybody have any goofy genres or subgenres?
Well, we had some great comments here. April and LaQuisha really appreciated your strategic use of Thor in the slides.
Oh,
But
yes. Happy Thor. Happy Thor's Day, a day early.
exactly. But we have some really good questions here. We had, well, as far as genres, it's all across the board. I mean,
All across. That's super fun.
we have contemporary romance, paranormal romance, fantasy, historical fiction, children's read aloud. There are Christian clean action, which I'm sure is right up your alley with your Christian suspense, picture books. It's there are no shortages of genres in our attendees today.
Awesome. That is super exciting. So let's go in to how we're going to set this up. So basically, once you understand the difference between campaigns and ad sets and ads, like I said, that takes 60% of the intimidation away. Everything I'm going to show you next is going to take the rest of the 40% of intimidation away. So when you're creating your ad, we're going to keep things really, really simple. We're going to create one campaign that has one ad set and one ad. So the one campaign to one audience with one ad in it is the simplest way to set it up. It makes it the easiest to see at a glance how your ad is performing. Like I said, I'm very into breaking things that look complicated down into the simplest. This is exactly how I run my ads, so it's not like I'm giving you guys the quick version. This is exactly how I do it to keep it real simple. So if you guys are ready to see the Ads Manager dashboard in action, let me know real quick in chat that you are fired up and that you are excited and that you are ready to go, and we can dive in to the Ads Manager dashboard.
All right, I'm waiting for all of these yeses to come streaming in. In the meantime, there was a question in 2017 when things took off for you. How many books did you have at that time?
Off the top of my head, I would say maybe 5 or so.
Okay, that's not a crazy amount. Yeah. We have a yes from Michelle, yes from Eliza, Anne, Portia, Celesta, Jackie, Rick with an Excelsior, and many other yeses. I think they are ready, so feel free to jump right in.
Here we go. All right. So to start your first Facebook ad, you need to access your Ads Manager dashboard. You can get there just by going to business.facebook.com/ads manager and hit create. And this is where the magic happens, guys. So real quick, we're going to be in the quick creation mode. So if your screen doesn't look like what you're seeing here, there's a little button that says switch to quick creation. That's what we're going to be doing. All right, so the first step that it's going to have us do is give our campaign, our ad set, and our ad a name. Usually just putting in the title of your book for right now is totally fine. We're selecting auction and traffic. Again, traffic just means that the goal of this ad is to get people to click on your Amazon sales link. We are sending traffic to that link. There are a couple things after that that you could ignore. You could ignore the A/B test and the campaign budget optimization, and then you just click Save to Draft, okay? Really easy to get started. We're going to click in the middle section on the top bar. That's going to take you to your ad set. And we're going to keep it for website traffic. That's the default. And then there are dynamic, creative, and offers, which the default is going to be set to off. And we're just going to keep these to off. So guys, like,
hey, Alana, could you tick back to the previous slide? We've got a few folks that are saying, let's slow it down just a smidge to make sure that they can keep up with it, catch up with it. You know, some people seeing this for the first time and all.
Yep. So the very first thing that happens when you click create to create a new ad is they're going to ask you to name your campaign, your ad set, and your ad. The easiest way to do that is going to be to just put in the name of your book for right now. There are a couple defaults that we're going to keep right as the default. So the type is auction and the campaign objective is traffic. And we're going to ignore the A/B test and the campaign budget optimization. There's actually going to be a lot of things here that we're going to ignore. And it's not even because they're like advanced and I don't want to get into them. It's because truly you could ignore these. I'm showing you the step-by-step of exactly how I do it. I'm not, holding out in-depth secrets or anything. So when I say ignore something, I'm telling you it's things that I ignore when I set up my ads that I've been running for years. So once you've got your names and you've set it at auction and traffic, all you do now is click the Save to Draft button. The next screen you get taken to, it's going to look like this.
And sorry to slow your roll once again. What was that URL for the business page 2 pages ago or 3 pages ago? There we go.
business.facebook.com/ads manager.
Okay, business facebook.com/ads manager. I just wanted to send that into the chat for everybody so that they were all working
For
from the
sure.
same
Yeah.
place. And I was just
Yep.
making sure that it worked for me, and it does. Cool. Continue.
All righty. So we have named everything. And now we're going to click on in the top, it's always going to be divided into 3 sections. And again, you just always need to keep in mind campaign, ad set, and ad. And so now we're going to create our ad set, which is this middle button here. And again, we're keeping a lot of the defaults, exactly the defaults that are going to show up when you go here. So we're going to keep the website button toggled as opposed to any of the other traffic options. And we're going to ignore dynamic creative and offer. So again, this is totally set up for you. There's probably not going to be any button that you need to press to get your screen to look like mine. These are just the defaults that we're going to keep as a default. So traffic equals website, and dynamic creative and offer are both off. All right, so again, we're in the ad set section. The ad set section is where you set your budget and your audience. So the next thing we need to do is set our budget. So my suggestion for right now is that you set a $5 a day daily budget, and you set it to end 3 to 5 days from now. There's no real like science. It could be 6 or 7 days from now. I just picked a short amount of time. It's going to be enough time that you're going to see how your ad performs, but not so long that you're going to have to worry about losing tons of money, which is basically why I chose the 3 to 5 day window. So you're here in the ad set section. Your daily budget is going to be $5 a day, and you'll set an end date to end this ad 3 to 5 days from now. All right, so we're still in ad set and we have selected our budget option. So now we get to do the audience building. All right, so again, a lot of times these are the exact defaults that are going to come up. Wow, I've got some funny pop-up. Okay, so we're going to keep it at people living in or recently in the United States. Okay, that's probably going to be your default. Ages 18 through 65, unless you're certain that you have a different demographic. And if you're certain about your demographic, you can go ahead and select an age range that makes most sense for that. The one thing that I do recommend you do is select just one gender. That doesn't mean that you're only going to advertise to men or only advertise for women the entire time you're running your Facebook ads. But I think at the beginning, it's best to just select for one gender, see how that does. And then once you get the feel for it, you can try other gender and see how that goes. The one button that you never want to press is the detailed targeting expansion. This button sounds like a really good idea because what Facebook says is, hey, we will take people that we think will be a good fit for your ad and we're going to show it to them. Sadly, based on my own experience running tests multiple times, plus anecdotal experience that I've heard from other authors, the detailed targeting expansion button does not work well. The world's not going to explode if you do select it, but probably your ad is not going to be as effective. So again, real quick, for location, for right now, we're doing people who live or were recently in the United States, who are 18 through 65 plus, select one gender, and ignore this detailed targeting expansion. How are we doing? Are things coming along clearly? And is this making sense to people so far?
I think for the most part, yes. We have a couple people who are a little behind by a slide or two, but that's okay because I want to remind everybody we will send out a replay tomorrow or the day after. So do not worry. People definitely want a copy of the slides too, Alana.
Absolutely. Yes, that is going to happen for sure so that you guys can go and, follow these step by step by step. Yeah.
I've got a question which
Mm-hmm.
is that has come up a couple times from Jennifer and from Karen. Do you recommend this over something like a boosted post? I know that Facebook makes it so quote unquote easy to do a boosted post, but I have heard rumblings that this strategy that you're using tends to be more effective than boosted posts over the long run. Would that be correct?
That is correct. So a boosted post doesn't really allow you to select these targeting options. Another thing a boosted post doesn't do is it doesn't create a linkable photo. So if you create a post with a beautiful graphic in an ad, which is what I'm going to show you how to do, and people click on the picture of your ad, they're going right to your Amazon sales page. If you do a boosted post, all it's going to happen is that picture is going to pop up, you know, as a bigger picture still on Facebook. Another reason why boosted posts might not work well, for those of you guys who have been writing for quite a while, it was really, really common practice like 3 to 5 years ago for authors to do all kinds of giveaways just to get Facebook likes. And people were trying to get to that magic like 1,000 followers, and it didn't really matter who they were. And so when you do a boosted post, you're paying money to send your post to people who are kind of like that. So especially if you guys did a lot of giveaways, or the people who like your page are like your coworkers at the deli, and then your mom's sewing circle, and you know, the next door neighbor, things like that. It's not going to be your actual targeted audience. So I recommend that you do it this way, because as we go deeper, like the next couple slides are going to show you how specific you can get about selecting your audience. And I think that once you see how specific you can get, you'll see why just paying Facebook to kind of throw your post up there for people who have followed you isn't necessarily a great option. I wouldn't
Right.
go so far as to say never use a boosted post. I just feel like this is going to get you way better results and be able to really, again, like our focus is to find that tribe of readers who are looking specifically for exactly your genre. And that's what we're going to do next. So in the detailed targeting section, this is where we tell Facebook who to serve your ad to based on things like their interests and their hobbies, what e-reader they use, where they shop for books. We can get really, really specific here. So this is all in the detailed targeting section. And again, we're still right in this ads, ad set section, and we're going to add some targets. So the step 1 in detailed targeting is to type in your primary genre into the detailed targeting section. Try to make your selection really, really specific. So you can target romance, or you can target romance novels. Always choose the one that has like the most specific to you. So in this case, you would target romance novels. Not every single genre is going to be represented here. And if your genre is not here, go ahead and skip to step 2, but I'm going to show you how many of these genres you can find. And this isn't even a comprehensive list. This is just an example of at least some of these genres, that these are the exact keywords that you can type in and target people who are interested in these. So you can target people who are interested in romance novels, cozy mystery, historical mystery, fantasy books, detective fiction, thriller fiction, horror fiction, literary fiction, mystery fiction, Christian novel, adventure fiction, crime fiction, superhero fiction, young adult fiction, gothic fiction, science fiction, psychological thriller. I know there are others that I didn't throw up here, so hopefully you can find at least something here that's close to your genre.
I have a
If you
quick
write,
question while you're
yeah.
on there, Alana.
Mhm.
So I know a lot of people, and we did get the question beforehand. Can I type an author name into these interests and will it show up? And you're talking about all these genres, but if I wanted to target you on Facebook, would I be able to?
No, you're not going to be able to target me. There are some authors who are on there, and that's actually going to be our next detailed targeting section. And the biggest thing to remember about the authors you can target is it's going to be the really, really big names. I'm going to show you that in like 2 slides, because yes, I recommend finding your genre here first, and we're going to target the genre, and then we're actually going to dive in and target authors.
Great, thank you.
So real quick, if you write nonfiction, just a couple quick ideas. These are all targets: self-help book, personal development, nonfiction books, memoir. Those are all interests you can target. Or you can just think about the people or their topics or hobbies your readers are going to be following. Really, the possibilities for nonfiction are kind of endless. So once you find your genre, you're going to add it here into the detailed targeting section, and then click the narrow audience button. And Brian, this is where we're going to now further refine it with the authors that
Perfect.
people who are going to be your ideal readers are also reading. So step 2 of detailed targeting is to search for authors in your genre, which is exactly like what you were saying, Brian. And again, remember, only like household names are going to be on this list. So like Michael Crichton's going to be on this list, but the adventure writer who had a BookBub deal last week, who published his first book like 3 weeks ago, is not going to be on this list. Your goal is going to be to find 5 to 7 authors to target. In some genres, you're not going to find that many, and it's okay. This is just a rule of thumb. One tip that I strongly recommend, if you don't really know the authors in your genre, the big name authors, and don't know where to start, I would search on barnesandnoble.com. So just go to barnesandnoble.com, type in your genre, and then see the names of the authors that come up, and see how many of those can be targets on Facebook, because Barnes and Noble keeps their algorithms in favor of the like perennial big name bestsellers. Whereas if you went to like the Amazon bestseller list, you're going to get tons of authors who can't be targeted on Facebook because they're they haven't been around for 10, 15 years with huge traditional publishing deals and things like that. One more tip is, after you've put in like 2 or 3 author names, you can hit the little button that says suggestions, and Facebook is going to pull up other authors kind of like it. So you can see I typed in Brandon Sanderson, The Martian novel, and Veronica Roth. And when I hit suggestions, I got several other fantasy and sci-fi authors here. Now, I would recommend you weed out, if you write sci-fi, you select just these ones that are sci-fi. If you write fantasy, you write just ones that are fantasy. But the suggestions button can be very, very useful there.
I have a quick follow-up question on this
Mm-hmm.
very pro tip, and we're seeing Annalise saying this is really helpful. We're seeing a lot of thank yous from Sally and other folks. How do you decide personally? At the first level, do you kind of try everything and see what works, especially with these suggestions? Because some are going to be kind of like, George R.R. Martin and Divergent are pretty divergent from each other as far
Mm-hmm.
as
Mm-hmm.
targets. How do you make
Yeah.
the decision here?
I do it 2 ways. So no, I don't do tons of testing. Like, I'm not going to, if this was my suggestions that came up, I'm not going to pick Cassandra Clare and send one ad to her and send the same ad to Neil Gaiman and the next ad to George R.R. Martin and kind of compare them. I don't go that deep into the audience testing side of things. So the way I do it is, I I'm going to assume that most authors know their genre decently well. And so I'm going to say to trust your gut. If this book is similar to yours, you're going to kind of know it. But if you see a name here that you don't know, like I don't read much sci-fi or fantasy, I actually don't know who Cassandra Clare is. So in this case, what I would do is I would just Google her books and actually look at the book covers and see if they are similar in tone to what I write. And if they are, then I'm going to assume that she's going to be a decent target. Does that kind of help? So first kind of pass is just weeding out based on what you know about these authors because you write in this genre anyway. Second pass is to just look them up real quick and see if your books would make sense in their also bots. And if they would, then they're probably a decent target.
Great, that is very helpful. Thank you for walking through that process.
Absolutely. All right, so now you are targeting people who read your genre and also follow at least one of the authors in your list. That's how we've set it up. When this is done, we are going to click the narrow further button one more time. Okay, so again, up here in the first detailed targeting section is our genre. And then they must also follow at least one of these 5 to 7 authors that we've selected. Okay, and so once we have it set up just like that, we're going to click down here in the narrow further button. And now we're going to find people who read ebooks. So it's very possible that someone loves mysteries and loves Karen Slaughter, but they're never going to pick up an ebook in their life. So this third section in detailed targeting is to make sure that we're finding people who want to read ebooks. So these are the exact targets that I recommend. And again, you guys are going to get the replay as well as a copy of these slides. So don't feel like you've got to be like furiously giving yourself a hand cramp writing all these down. But these are the exact targets that I recommend you throw into this third section. So Amazon Kindle, and you need to be careful that you select Amazon Kindle as an interest, not as an employer. Like you can actually target people who work for Amazon Kindle, but they're not going to be our ideal readers. So target these as interests: Amazon Kindle, Kindle Store, as well as ebooks and ebook readers. Okay, those are the exact targets that I recommend you put in this third detailed targeting section. One of the targets that you are going to see as an option is people who own a Kindle Fire. But a lot of people end up using Kindle Fires more as tablets than as e-readers. So I actually don't recommend that you use Kindle Fire as one of your targets. Again, the world's not going to explode if you do, but I think you're going to get better results if you do not use Kindle Fire as one of your targets. One more pro tip: if your books are wide and you want to advertise to people outside of Amazon, you can add any of these as options to your detailed targeting section here as well. So throw all of these in, or any of these in that you also want to target. So Kobo e-reader, not just Kobo Inc., that's like the parent company. So Kobo e-reader, iBooks, Barnes & Noble Nook, Nook Tablet, Audible. Again, this would be one that you're targeting as an interest, not an employer, and Google Books. So if your books are wide and you want to have sales in the wide stores, I would add these two. Now, we're sending people to the Amazon store, but I'm going to show you, if you're wide, where you're going to also add the links to these other retailers. So we have set up our ad set. Let me do a super quick recap. So basically, the first detailed targeting section is your genre. The second detailed targeting section is 5 to 7 authors, just like yours. The third detailed targeting section are people who read Kindles and ebooks, things like that. Now we're going to look over in the side at our audience size. So a decent rule of thumb is to aim for an audience size of more than 100,000 and less than 2 million. It's such a huge range that it almost sounds ridiculous, but it's still a decent rule of thumb, even though, like I said, it's not going to cause the world to explode if you're, higher or less than that. But don't feel tied down to it, but it's kind of a good rule of thumb just to keep in mind. So let me show you why I've selected these numbers. If your audience is too small, like significantly less than 100,000, your clicks are probably going to be more expensive because Facebook doesn't have as many people to choose from. So basically, we're setting up this entire audience, and Facebook is going to show our ad to the cheapest members of that audience first. And if it's just a kind of small audience, like less than that 100,000, there's just not going to be as many cheap options for Facebook to show it to. So if your audience is too small, you can try adding a few more authors. You could try adding a second genre. So for example, maybe you could combine mystery fiction and detective fiction in that first detailed targeting section. If your audience is still too small, you can combine the genres and the author. So instead of one detailed targeting section where it's a genre and the next where it's the author, you can put them all together, and that might help. But again, it's not really going to be something to like lose sleep over if you can't get your audience size big enough. Most of the time, you're going to be fine with that. If your audience size is too large, you're probably not going to get that many clicks because Facebook's just going to be kind of showing your ad indiscriminately to a large number of people. It really goes back to the old adage that if you're trying to market your book to everybody, you're marketing your book to nobody. So in this case, you can try decreasing the number of authors you have listed in that second detailed targeting section. You could try adding a narrower age range, or you can add a fourth detailed targeting section with even more book-related target words. So let me show you some of the other book-related target words that can be used in your ads. And again, please don't feel like you've got to be frantically scribbling all these down. I just kind of want to show you some of the other targets that later on you can kind of play around with. So Goodreads, book discussion club, fiction, novel, New York Times bestseller list, New York Times book review, Oprah's book club, Penguin Books, public library. You can also target places like BookBub and eReader News Today. You just want to be slightly careful that you don't target just to freebie and discount seekers. It's probably going to be harder to sell like a $9.99 ebook box set to someone who follows BookBub because they're more used to the bargains. Anybody here who writes literary fiction, some of these targets here work great, like Oprah's book club or things like that, or the New York Times book review. Those can be really good for like literary fiction targets.
I had a couple of questions in here, Alana, so if you could step
Yeah,
back. Step back, man. No.
go far back. Should we go
So,
back to Thor?
yeah, well, we need Thor. This is great. I think some people are a little lost, but this is the great thing about us sending out a replay, sending out the slides tomorrow. You will be able to get that information slowed down to the point where you can see it. And I believe it'll even be shared through something you can watch at 0.5 speed if you need to. But going into this targeting, you and I talked about this. There were a lot of questions about nonfiction. Now, that was my bad. You were like, should I put something in the slides about nonfiction? I'm like, I don't know. But nonfiction, I know that on my side, I have found some success from targeting kind of the influencers who are kind of the leaders in the space for that particular area. So if I was going to do online marketing, maybe I would target Gary Vaynerchuk, or passive income, target Pat Flynn. What insights do you have for kind of more of a nonfiction audience?
Yeah, I could talk about it off the top of my head, or I could even like jump over to the Ads Manager dashboard and create like a nonfiction audience. What do you want to do?
Let's do off the top of your head now, and then during the Q&A session, let's do that. Let's go to the ad dashboard, and would you guys be okay with us doing maybe like 5 to 10 example detailed targetings during the Q&A, and we'll take your suggestions? Does that work for you? If you are interested in that, Vicky seems interested, Jackie, Joseph, and some more are coming in here. So why not for now off the top of your head?
Awesome. Okay, so yeah, nonfiction, one thing that you definitely want to do is you want to have one section that includes all of these ebook things, because there are many nonfiction advertisers who are selling coaching packages or things like that. You want it to be really clear, and you really want to narrow down on targeting people who are readers. So definitely keep the ebook section as one detailed targeting section. When you're selecting your authors, I would do exactly what Brian said. I would say follow people who are experts in that industry. So they don't necessarily have to be authors. They might be speakers. So for example, if you're writing a cookbook, you don't necessarily in the author section, you don't have to target just cookbook authors. You can target people like food celebrities are the people you would put here. Or let's say you're writing a book on health and fitness. So you're going to include one targeting section with like the Kindle interest, the ebook reading interest. And here where we said, where a fiction author is going to put I'm sorry, where a fiction writer is going to target other fiction authors. Basically, you're going to just target the celebrities and influencers in your field. So if you're writing a health book, it's not necessarily going to be people who write other health books. It's going to be people who are well known in the industry for being an expert in that field. Does that kind of make sense?
Yes, that definitely makes sense. And I'm sure when we go through here, I think in Q&A, let's do a from step one walkthrough.
Yeah, I think that
Then
would be
let's
awesome.
also do some extra detailed targeting. But
Yeah,
many yeses when I brought up that
very
suggestion.
cool.
So everyone
Yeah,
stay here till the Q&A and then you'll get that.
cool. Another thing, especially nonfiction writers might want to keep in mind is that you can target people by hobbies. So going back to the fitness thing, you can target people who are like fitness experts and then add another targeting section of people who like to work out, who do home exercise things, who have a home gym, right? Those are any type of hobby that your audience is going to be looking for would be a great one to create an audience from. And it's going to make so much more sense in the screen share at the end. I think that's a great idea. Okay, nobody get dizzy. I'm going to advance back to where we were. Here we go. All right, so once you've gotten the hang of your audiences, here are some of the really fun things that you can do. So for example, let's say you write holiday romances about single mom secretaries who fall in love with Texan cowboys. You're going to target people who read romance and also follow romance authors and also read ebooks and also have children in elementary school and also work office jobs and also watch Christmas movies and also listen to country western music. So this is exactly what we were just talking about with finding people's hobbies, their interests, all the way down to like what kind of movies they like to watch. And so this is what I will show you in the screen share at the end is how to take these first 3 steps of detailed targeting where it's just genre, author, and ebooks and add even more detailed options here to find your exact tribe. That's what I've been talking about when I'm saying your tribe of readers. You're not just saying, Facebook, find me people who like romance books. You're saying, Facebook, find me people who are going to love this holiday romance about single mom secretaries who fall in love with Texan cowboys. Right? That's how specific you can get, and it can be so effective. That's what I mean when I say like there's really no subgenre that's off limits when you think about this audience that you're creating. So once you have selected your audience, you can click this Save Audience button, and that way you do the work once and you can keep reusing this audience in multiple ads. There's just a couple more buttons here in ad set that are basically all defaults. So you're going to select automatic placements. That means that your ad is going to show up anywhere that Facebook serves ads to. And then under optimization and delivery, there's just one small change that we need to make. We need to go from landing page views to link clicks. And all that means is we're not sending people to our own author website, we're sending people to the Amazon store. So we've got to have link clicks selected there. So this is just kind of a bookkeeping step to keep these defaults in place. And then we have created our ad set. So we've created our campaign, we've created the ad set where we've selected our budget and created this audience with all these detailed targeting options. Now we get to go ahead and make our ad. So back in the Ads Manager dashboard, again, you've got these tabs on top. The third tab is for your ad. So you're just going to click on the ad to get to the ad part of the dashboard. And again, this is stuff I'm going to walk you through as well in the screen share at the end. So you're going to select your Facebook author page. If you have an Instagram account, you can also connect your Instagram account to your Facebook ad. You don't have to. If you don't have an Instagram account, your ads are still going to run as Instagram ads, and they'll just use like your profile picture from your page. Not a big deal. But if you've got an Instagram account, go ahead and connect it. All right. Next, let me tell you what we're doing, and then I'll tell you how you do it. Basically, all we're telling Facebook to do is let me select my image, but it's a bunch of buttons. So basically, under the Create Ad tab, We want to select single image or video. We want to ignore this full screen mobile experience, and we're going to click on add media. All of that is just the super, super complicated way of telling Facebook, hey, we want to select an image for our ad. All right, so if you've already got an image, there's a button here where you can click upload. I'm going to show you a way to find really, really easy stock photographs that are going to work great in your ads. So to do that, over here, you select account images and then stock photos. Here are some myths about Facebook ad images, and I'm going to show you some examples of Facebook ad images that work well for different genres. Myth number 1 is that you need a book cover in your Facebook ad image. And I have done dozens and dozens of tests, and this just has not been true based on the tests that I run. You do not need your book cover. Myth number 2 says you need to find a photo with a model who matches your character perfectly. Also not true. For example, I've got a suspense series where the main character on the covers has light brown hair, and one of my ads, you know, shock of shocks, the picture of the girl in my ad has dark brown hair, and it's no big deal at all. Myth number 3 is that you want to cram a lot of text into your picture. Again, not true. We want to always keep in mind in this entire section we're going through next about creating our ads, we want to keep in mind that we want to be very, very friendly to people who are scrolling. That's what we want to do. So we don't want to force people to like slow down and read a ton of text. Myth number 4 is the purpose of your image is to sell your book. It's actually not. The purpose of your image is just to incite enough curiosity that people want to read your headline and read your text. Okay, so the image doesn't sell the book. The image just gets the right people to stop scrolling. A couple tips for you to just throw out there. Pictures with people often are going to perform better than just pictures of settings. And another thing you always want to keep in mind is thinking about the essence or feel of your book and find an image that captures the right mood. That's far more important than capturing like a scene from your book. So here's some examples. These are stock images for suspense that have worked really well. You can see there's no text in them. I haven't done anything fancy with the graphics. All I've done is selected these stock photos, and I've gotten 10% click-through rates, 12% click-through rates, just with these stock photos. For romance, it's even easier. Romance, you just want to find a picture of a happy couple. All right, so these are 9% click-through rates, 13% click-through rates with just pictures of happy, happy people in love. For some genres, like if you write cozy or women's lit, you can just find pictures of people reading, and those work really, really well. You can see 11% click-through rates, 15% click-through rates. So for certain genres, you don't even need the picture like from a character of your book. You want a picture that evokes the reading experience. This is a warm, cozy, inviting experience. You can also try images from your book cover that don't have the text. So basically, like I don't like doing a ton with graphics. The extent of graphic work I don't mind doing is cropping. So all I did was I took my book cover, cropped it, and included some of these pictures with good results as well for my ad. So hopefully you guys are seeing the ad component and the image component does not have to be scary or intimidating. Real quick, to find the best photos, you can go to the stock photos, type in whatever search term you want to look for, and then just scroll really quick. Don't stop and look at each individual picture. Just scroll through, see what catches your eye. Because again, the only purpose of your image is to get Facebook users to stop scrolling. Also,
I don't want to slow your roll too much, Alana. You finish your thought. Sorry, I thought you were done, but I have a quick question when you're done.
Okay, I was just going to kind of remind people we already covered it, but you don't need to use text. And if you have too much text, Facebook will actually penalize you by not showing your photo to as many people. But yeah, go ahead, Brian.
Sorry about that. I always try to time it right. And my daughter was coming in and out of the room crying. So we had a whole thing. I know. But click-through rate. We talk about what is a good click-through rate, a bad click-through rate for these images, which of course is a really good indicator of if you have the right image. How have you assessed what has been a good click-through rate for you? Is that like the #1 thing you should focus on with these images? What do you think?
It's not the number one thing. I think the number one metric that I focus on is how many clicks it takes for me to get a sale of the book. Rule of thumb for click-through rates, like if your click-through rate is less than 3%, then you probably don't have a super engaging ad. I would say like a click-through rate between 5 and 10% is good. If you can get above 10% click-through rate, I would say that's very good. Those are just some rules of thumb to throw out there, but keep in mind it's going to vary some depending on your genre, depending on your audience. I don't get super hung up on click-through rate. For example, like if you find an audience that is cheap enough to target, that your cost per click is in like the 10 or 15 cents, even if you have a click-through rate below like 5%, that's fine. So I would say even more important than click-through rate is your cost per click, because in the end, it does come down to, are you making a profit? So if you can get a cheaper cost per click, then you're fine. Yeah, I don't want to go too deep into the numbers,
Oh,
but that's
sure.
what I would focus on more is both the cost per click and then how many clicks it takes to get a sale. Does that answer that?
That super answers it. And one last question multiple people ask, where do you buy your stock photos?
Okay, so I think, oh, here we go. That was such a good segue.
Yes.
Tips for
Hooray.
finding the best images. So in some accounts, you're going to have a button enabled that right there on Facebook, you're going to be able to target stock photos. Let me go back to that slide real quick because it is so amazing. Now, some accounts don't have this option, but if yours does, basically it's here in account images, and you could just click on stock photos and choose them right there on the Facebook ads dashboard. That's what I do primarily, and I don't need to worry about like cropping and sizing. There's a couple other places though. Pixabay is free, although they don't have a huge selection. Deposit photos is where most of mine, if I can't find the right one doing the ads manager stock photos, I have a deposit photos credits like 2 or 3 times a year. AppSumo sends out like regular email deals of bargains for people who have online businesses. So what I do is I just follow AppSumo's email list, and when the deposit photos option goes on sale, I buy them. And I think they end up being maybe like 50 cents an image when you buy like 100 at a time or something like that. It's a really good deal. And since I'm not doing a ton with graphics, they last me quite a while. Shutterstock is okay. It can just be a little bit pricey, like up to $10 an image. If you're doing this a ton, it might be worth getting a subscription. So the two that I rely on most are just the stock photos option in the Facebook Ads Manager and deposit photos, where you can get really cheap stock photos if you follow the AppSumo email list. All right, once you've selected your image, you add your headline. So basically the image's job is to get people to stop scrolling. The headline is what people are going to glance at next. That's this part that's circled here. That's your headline. It's the part in bold. For the best headline, you want to make it really clear you're selling a book. You want to make it really clear what your genre is, and you don't want to waste room because you only have, space for a couple words. So this is not the spot for a call to action. Actually, the call to action is going to come quite a bit later in this process. So a headline that incites curiosity is going to work a lot better than a headline with a call to action. So for example, fantasy readers love this series is going to do better than download this fantasy series now. There is going to be a call to action, but that comes later. A couple words you want to avoid in your headline. The name of your book, just because you don't have a ton of space. Saying I or my, like don't say read my book. You just always want to remember that readers want to know what's in it for them, right? They don't care about you. I don't mention the book's price, even if it's free or discounted in the headline. I've never gotten good results from doing so. USA Today bestseller, shout out to those of you who have made the list who are here. It's a little bit long, but the term bestseller works really well. I just wouldn't throw in USA Today bestseller because it takes up valuable space. Another word I wouldn't use in the headline is download, because we think of download like someone's going to go and download your book on Kindle. But the average person, they're going to see download and it could be confusing. They're going to like worry that they're going to get taken to some really bizarre, shady thing with a big download button. And they're going to worry about, you know, spyware getting added and things. I would not use download. Here's a couple headline templates that you can try, like discover why genre, like put in your genre here, readers can't put the series down. So discover why romance readers can't put the series down. That does 3 things. It incites curiosity, right? Discover why. It tells them that it's a book because we have the word reader, and it makes the genre super clear, like romance. I want to leave tons of time for Q&A. So with Brian's blessing, I might kind of speed through these headlines a little faster than normal. Does that sound okay to you?
You have been blessed.
I appreciate your blessing. All right, once you have added your headline, you just ignore this little button that says add another option. And now we're going to add our website URL. That's just going to be the Amazon URL. You can use a redirect if you want to use, you know, if you've got reader links or something. If you don't have anything like that, you just throw in your Amazon link right here in the website URL. Real quick, if you put in the Amazon URL and you get this funny notice about the pixel, that just means that you forgot to select link click. So you need to go back to ad set, go back to optimization and delivery. If you followed all the steps up until now, you're not going to get this notice and you're going to be fine. All right, now we get to add the text. So people have stopped scrolling because you picked such a good image. Their curiosity has been incited because you selected such a good headline. The next thing you want them to do is to read what you've written. And you only have a couple lines to grab their attention. And one of your goals is going to be to get them to click this see more button. So I always recommend that you make your text long enough that it's going to get to the see more. So that's rule of thumb, maybe like 4 to 6 lines of text will be enough to get this see more button here. Again, you want to make it super clear selling a book using words like reader, book, novel multiple times, and you want to make it really, really easy to skim. Break up your text in smaller paragraphs, things like that. Again, Facebook users are skimmers, so we want to make it super friendly to people who skim. A couple words that are great to use, words like you. Words like buy is actually one that I especially like because I'm advertising full price books and I want to subtly discourage freebie seekers from interacting with my ads. Genre keywords, you always want to include the title of your book in the text really clearly. I used to not remember to do this well, and I would get a lot of people who commented on my book like, what's the name of the book again? Those are words you for sure want to use. You don't want to use the word I. You don't want to start your post with, I'm so excited to tell you about my new book, because like I said, they don't care about you. Let's go super quick into a few things that Facebook might reject you for. You don't want to have any promises or guarantees. You don't want to make health claims like this book will help you lose weight. You don't want anything that sounds like an easy money scheme. For a fiction author, that's probably not a big deal, but if you're writing nonfiction, keep that in mind. All caps, misuse of exclamation marks, profanity, those are no-nos that will get your ad rejected. You don't want drug references, and some authors have kind of stopped using the word heroine in terms of like the female lead of your book, thinking that Facebook could target. I haven't ever heard of Facebook actually targeting, so just be careful if you are using the word heroine. For sure, make sure you spell it with the E so they don't think you're talking about drugs. They also don't like any misleading information, so that's why I wouldn't recommend that you use the phrase free in Kindle Unlimited in your Facebook ad, because people who don't know what that means could feel like it was a bait and switch. When they click on your link, they think you're getting a free book and they see that it's actually a price. You don't want to presume to know like creepy personal information. So don't say things like, read the book that single Catholics like you love. Yes, you can target people who are single and Catholics who read books, but Facebook doesn't want people to feel creeped out because you know too much about them. You also, and this is especially important for nonfiction authors to keep in mind, you don't want to hit a pain point with a ton of negativity. So you don't want to say something like, does having your children at home during a pandemic make you want to scream in agony and throw your dishes at the wall? You want to kind of come up with a more positive way to reframe that. So when you've written your text, you should have multiple genre keywords so they know exactly what genre you're writing. You want it to be clear in multiple places that you're selling a book, and you want to end with a real strong call to action. So weak calls to action would just be something like read it, download today. A better call to action would be something like buy this exciting thriller and read it now. This is a great place to just cram in a couple more of those kind of genre specific keywords. And then if your books are wide, the bottom of your text is where you can add links to the other retailers. And you can see I've got the retailers here in bold. I did that formatting with yaytext.com, which makes it kind of stand out. So yes, anybody who clicks on the picture of the ad will be taken to the Amazon store, but people can also click on any of these other retail links. I'm gonna like super quick just tell you for the description what I do. I just throw in a very quick blurb from a review, and that's all. The description doesn't even show up on many platforms. You can even leave it blank. It's totally optional. So I don't want to spend a ton of time on description, but you would just, if you do want to add one in, I would just use a blurb that someone has said about your book, keep it short and sweet, and boom, there you go. All right, so now your ad has an image, text, headline, and if you have decided to add one, a description. That is your ad. All right, so there's a couple steps that are just, again, kind of like housekeeping buttons you need to make sure are pressed. So the destination is a website. The display link, you can probably leave blank or just enter amazon.com. That's what's going to show up as a little preview. And then there's something that Facebook calls the call to action. And I select no button just because that gives your headline more room. Let me show you super fast. So if there was a button, it would show up here, which would leave less words that I could fit in my headline. And so I usually select no button. That's not always an option. And so the second best choice is the learn more button. All right, you can ignore anything that has to do with language or tracking. And if you're happy, you just click publish. Next, Facebook is going to review your ad. They're going to send you a notification when it's up and running. And guys, you did it. That was amazing. Great job. When you go to your Facebook Ads Manager, just super quick recap, you're going to create one campaign with one ad set and one ad. All right, then Facebook is going to find the people who will click on your ad, buy your book, and become your faithful tribe of readers for years and years to come. All right, Brian, how are we doing on time?
Oh, we're good. I think people are definitely going to have a fair number of questions at the end. I think that you have covered so much and so many people. I just want to give you some props. Crystal said, I know we're not even done yet, but I just have to say I've spent a lot of time and money trying to learn this, and this is the most informative tutorial I have ever had. Thank you. And there's more to come during the Q&A.
There
But
absolutely is.
I love that you're going to kind of round things out here. So we are going to answer all of the questions we can. So Alana, I'm going to let you kind of talk about how this works for authors into the next 1, 3, 5 months of their career going forward. So have at it.
Absolutely. Awesome. All right, guys, you have gotten a ton of information so far. So now I would love for you guys to tell me something. And Crystal, you kind of already spoke to this. If other people want to chime in too, I would love to hear your thoughts. So do you feel more comfortable now with the thought of running Facebook ads than you did at the start of this training? Because that was one of my primary goals, is to help you feel encouraged and equipped and to break down some of these scary things in the Ads Manager dashboard and show you, hey, you guys can do this. So I want to know if you're more comfortable now with the Facebook ads dashboard, and I want to know if you're even more excited to take your Facebook ads knowledge to the next level of success. That's what I want to hear from you.
Dee says, mind blown. Lisa says, excellent tutorial. Bethany says, I'm no longer terrified. Ivy says, this is the only tutorial I need. Dare says, I'm so grateful for you. I think you've reached your goal of being the best
Awesome.
seminar on this topic. So I think absolutely.
I am so glad to hear that. So yeah, let's do exactly what Brian said and talk about where we can go from here, guys. I really want you to keep in mind, you are the person in charge of your book's success. You do not need to wait for someone to give you permission to market your book like a boss. And running Facebook ads is one of the most effective ways that you're ever going to find in order to get yourself more readers, sell more of your books, and make more money doing the things that you love. The other major takeaway is more practical, and that's just that if you have an eye-catching image and a scroll-stopping headline and great ad copy, you are going to have a super effective Facebook ad. Those are the things I want you to just keep in mind going forward. So guys, this has been a huge group. There's so many people here. The energy is so exciting, and I don't know why you showed up today, but I hope that so far you've seen how simple it can be to set up your Facebook ad campaigns. I hope you also have felt inspired and motivated and realize how Facebook ads can truly change your career and even your life. And again, my primary goal was for you to feel 100% empowered to create your first or your next Facebook ad with 100% confidence. And that is what I truly hope you have gained from this experience. So now the question moving forward is, how do you start running profitable Facebook ads that find you more readers and sell more of your books immediately, right? So I'm going to give you these two options. Choice A is you can take the tips you learned today plus trial and error and the do-it-yourself attitude that we indie authors are so good at, and you can set up your own Facebook ads. Or you can get direct guidance and support from an author who's invested hundreds of hours into learning how to run profitable ads and is committed to your success. This quote from Cristiano Ronaldo says, "Dreams are not what you see in your sleep. Dreams are the things which do not let you sleep." And I just want to remind you of that story we started with, our once upon a time story, of when I loved writing and was so discouraged and frustrated because things weren't coming together. And I was ready to give up on my dreams of becoming an author. And that's when my husband stepped in and said, if you give up now, you're going to regret it forever. And that's what I want to encourage you guys to remember as well. You've been given this huge dream of being a hugely successful author, of having more readers, an enthusiastic tribe, thousands of readers who are so excited about your book. And these are the things that Facebook ads training can do for you, is to make these dreams come true for you. That's why I want to introduce you today to the Facebook ads for book sales full-length course, right? So we're a little over an hour into this training. This course takes like the deep dive into Facebook ads specifically for indie authors like you. So this course is the most comprehensive and easy to follow Facebook ads training for authors, and the fastest way to learn how to create Facebook ads that will have you selling more books and making more money, right? Like I said, you can take the do-it-yourself attitude and figure these things out, or you can see the step-by-steps and take all the training and all the testing that I've done and have it like handed to you on a silver platter. So this is the course that spells out each step you need to take so that your book marketing goes from this to this. You're welcome to all of you Thor fans out there. All right, what's in this course? What do you get when you sign up? You get step-by-step training that eliminates the guesswork out of all of your Facebook ad campaigns. You get the knowledge to analyze your ads, what numbers to measure, what numbers you can ignore, and I promise that you're not going to get a math hangover from this. Also going to get this confidence that comes from knowing the Facebook Ads Manager dashboard inside and out. You are never going to feel intimidated again. Here's what some authors like you are saying about these courses of mine. Joe Solari, who does the Treat Your Writing Like a Business and is huge into the numbers side and the budgeting side and the profit side of things, says, "Alana is a kind and patient teacher who knows how to make money advertising her books." Mary Crawford, who has been fabulous here in the chat, answering questions and chatting with you guys, says, "I have been an author for 6 years, and Alana's course was the first time I understood every single step and was able to immediately apply them to my marketing plan." Again, I love taking these things that look complicated and breaking them down into the simplest step-by-step, just like you saw in this training. And the full-length courses that we're talking about are that deep dive, just like this. Bryn Hale says, I am a creative person, and when instructors speak numbers, I glaze over. But Alana helped me take what was a mountain in my mind and make it a flat surface. Best investment I ever made. And again, guys, this is what I'm saying about you can do all of these things and be hugely profitable, hugely successful, and not get this math hangover. We're not going to be doing spreadsheets. We're not going to be doing complex calculations. I'm just going to show you, here's the numbers you want to pay attention to, and here's how to know if your ad's working. Boom. And I love what Bryn said, best investment she ever made, because Bryn was the type of go get them author that knew that she was ready to take charge of her success, and she did it, and she has no regrets. So in short, instead of you learning everything for yourself and spending hundreds of dollars and countless hours on tests and tweaks and researching and reading articles about Facebook ads, I can teach you exactly how to set up your Facebook ad campaigns like a boss. How much does this training cost? All right, some author ads agencies, if you were just to hire someone to make one ad for you, you could pay like $1,500 bucks. Masterminds for digital marketers can be like 10 grand, and one-on-one help from a book publicist would cost you hundreds or even thousands of dollars every hour they work with you. But here is what you guys get today. You can get the Facebook ads for book sales course for $299. You can get the Facebook ads for book sales and email list building bundle for $399. And don't worry, we're going to go deeper into what you get with each of these offers in a sec. What I am super excited about is the Facebook ads mastermind and 2-course bundle for $699. Registration is open, guys. You can log on right now to courses.alanaterry.com/bundle and get yourself in this mastermind. Here is kind of an easier way to look at the breakdown of these packages, all right? So for 6 payments of $59, you get the Facebook ads for book sales course, which focuses primarily on the types of things that we talked about in this training so far, and just goes like 100% deeper or 1,000% deeper. For 6 payments of $79, you get 2 courses. You get the Facebook ads for book sales course that we just talked about. You also get a full-length course on using Facebook ads for building your email list. This is an entirely different type of ad campaign, and it's an entire full-length course. It's going to show you how you can add thousands of ideal readers to your newsletter list with Facebook ads. And then for 6 payments of $129 is how you get into this mastermind. So you get both of the Facebook ads courses and tons of extra bonuses, plus this 6-week Facebook ads intensive mastermind when you sign up right now at courses.alanaterry.com/bundle. All right, so I'm going to break down kind of each of these options so that you feel the most equipped to make the decision to know exactly which of these bundles is right for you. So all of these offers are going to expire Sunday at midnight. So if you pay $299 before Sunday, you'll get the Facebook ads for book sales full-length course, which is $350 to buy just on its own. You're going to get a dedicated Facebook group for students, which is where you can ask all of your questions. I'll pop on and do live trainings and things. You can get into that group. You get the Facebook ads in 30 minutes or less training. This is just kind of to give you the real quick, hit the ground running. And I'm also giving you guys the Killer Blurbs at Sell More Book course for free. So the total value of the $299 package is over $900 worth of resources to help you be even more successful and to skyrocket your career. For $399, you get all the things I mentioned before, plus the Facebook ads for list building full-length course. This is the one that I said we're creating an entirely different type of Facebook ad campaign where the goal is to get your ideal readers to subscribe to your newsletter list. It's set up entirely on Facebook's platform, so you don't need to create fancy landing pages or anything like that. So basically, for just $100 extra, you get everything that I just mentioned, plus this Facebook ads for email list building course, which is a $300 value, making the value of the entire package over $1,200 bucks. And now let's talk about this mastermind. All right, so if you pay $699 before Sunday at midnight, you're going to get the Facebook ads for book sales course, right? That's where we dive super deep into traffic ads. You're going to get the Facebook ads for email list building course, where we're going to show you exactly how to add thousands of enthusiastic fans to your email list. And you get into our 6-week intensive mastermind. Okay, this is where we're going to have regular trainings, all types of deep dives, hot seats, all your questions answered. We're going to walk you through like step by step from newbie to absolute pro in 6 weeks. In addition, you get the productivity for authors. This is another full-length course. It's going to help you incorporate everything that you're learning and do it in a way so that you're not feeling stressed or overwhelmed. And then you also get the other bonuses like the dedicated Facebook group, the training that shows you how to set up a Facebook ad in 30 minutes or less, as well as the full course about killer blurbs that sell more books. So if you pay $6.99 before Sunday, you get into this 6-week intensive mastermind and you get all of these resources for a total value of over $2,400. Let's talk for just another second about this mastermind because it is the component of this offer that I am so excited about. You heard Brian say it at the very beginning. I love teaching and helping you feel equipped and empowered to take your writing career to the next level. So in this mastermind, you're going to get motivation and encouragement. You can think of me as your Author Ads cheerleader. I am going to be there with you each step of the way, cheering you on and showing you exactly how to scale up your ads and go from total Facebook ads newbie to absolute pro. We're going to have live trainings that take you through every single step to start and optimize and scale up your Facebook ads. And then the other really cool thing is you're going to be in this community of other authors just like you. So there's going to be extra accountability and extra motivation, and it's going to help you stay on track the entire time. So you can order the mastermind now at courses.alanaterry.com/bundle. But wait, there's more. Of course, there's more, guys. Here is what's coming if you order in the next half hour, okay? So while I'm going into these deep dives into your questions, as well as showing you everything in this Ads Manager dashboard, here's what you get if you order now. If you sign up in the next 30 minutes, you also get your 5-figure Facebook ads case study. This is a deep dive into my 5 most profitable Facebook ads I have ever made. I'm also going to give you a free critique of your first or your next Facebook ad. So basically, you're going to create the ad, you're going to show me your text and your headline and your image, and I'm going to give you a full and comprehensive critique of that. And we're also going to have a special group onboarding call so you know right where to start, because like I'm throwing so many resources out at you and I don't want you to feel anywhere close to overwhelmed. So if you order now, you get that special group onboarding call just so that we can start exactly in the right foot and take any guesswork, any intimidation out of the entire process. So that is what you get if you order in the next 30 minutes. If you're watching the replay, just take a super quick screenshot like right now at this exact second and send me an email at coach@alanaterry.com with your receipt, and you get that fast action bonus as well. So again, the link to order courses.alanaterry.com/bundle, and this offer is only good until Sunday at midnight. All of my courses come with a full confidence 30-day money back guarantee. There's not going to be any questions or hassles. I don't want you to kind of worry, oh, is this right for me? Come check it out, see if it's right for you. And my promise is to always over deliver and exceed your expectations. How do you know if you're ready for this, right? Okay, well, here's one way to know if you're ready. Can you picture what you do with an extra $1,000 or $2,000 or $5,000 in book sales a month? And are you ready to invest in yourself, in your future, in order to rapidly scale up your success? If you said yes to those, that is how you know that you are ready to take this plunge, take this deep dive with me, and we're going to walk through it together. Here's why you don't want to wait. Right now, Facebook clicks are cheaper than they've been in at least 3 years. That's because more people are logging on to Facebook daily than perhaps any other time in history. With all the stuff going on, people being home so much more than normal, there are so many more users on Facebook, and those users are looking for entertainment and inspiration and the encouragement that your book has to offer them. And so now is the absolute perfect time to take this step. So let's sum it up. If you want to set up Facebook ads that sell more books and earn you more money without feeling at all confused or intimidated or overwhelmed, this is the opportunity that you do not want to pass up. The courses and bonuses are going to give you exactly what you need to run your Facebook ads and scale up your business like a total pro. One more time, that link to order, courses.alanaterry.com/bundle. I'm just going to walk real quick through what you do once you get to that page. Basically, you select which offer you want. You've got the single course offer, the 2-course offer, or the 2-course offer plus this mastermind. So you select the offer that you want. You click that buy now button, and then you get to select whether you want to pay for it all right now or if you want to get on the 6-month payment plan. You enter in your PayPal information or your credit card information, and you are in. All right, and then real quick, here's one more awesome reason to buy. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but there's a city called Midland, Michigan. I actually went to junior high and high school there. So it's like partially my hometown. My other hometown is California, but Midland, Michigan is like half a hometown to me. And they have had some catastrophic flooding. And so if you buy in full today, 10% of those proceeds are going to be donated to the Mid-Michigan Red Cross to help with their disaster relief. I was a little office volunteer at this exact Red Cross when I was in high school. And so I encourage you, if you're trying to decide whether to do the payment plan or the pay in full, here's just one extra reason to select the pay in full today. And of course, we have Thor telling us, because that's what heroes do. All right. One more link, courses.alanaterry.com/bundle. You only have until Sunday at midnight. And then if you try to go to that website, you're just going to see this little notice that says rats. This offer has expired. And I know you guys do not want to miss out on this opportunity. We did it, Brian. We're ready for questions.
I take a second, drink some water, Alana. This was really great. I know that there are some of you guys who there was a lot of information and maybe too much. We'll think on that in the future, Alana. But there was a lot in there. I had a lot of people commenting that they were really, really happy with the amount of information provided. And there are so many questions. My thinking is, I want you to and I really endorse Alana. I want to say Alana is a great teacher. Alana shared so much great information here. And let me just tell one thing about Alana. So when I was about to do my January ad challenge, unprompted, Alana just sent me some airborne and a mug and some just really nice stuff, just saying, hey, like, I hope everything goes well. I hope that and my daughter just ran in right when I was speaking. But basically, Riley, hold on one second. I just need to finish my thought here. One sec. Riley's 3, so she's not exactly going to respond. But Alana, I really want to thank you for that. And every time you cut the paper, and how do you feel? And now she's leaving right when I was about to hand it off to you. But how do you feel about doing a rapid fire 10 minutes of questions, then we do the screen share, and then, I like how my daughter went right up into the mic. She knows what she's doing.
It was adorable.
I know. But how about 10 minutes of rapid fire questions, then we do that screen share, then we go back and tackle the last bit of the questions before the top of the hour. How does that sound?
That sounds awesome. Yeah. Hit me with your questions, and yeah, let me know when it's time to switch to the screen share, because I'm super excited about that part too.
Awesome. Good stuff. And I wanted to close out that thought about just how kind you are, how giving you are, and how excited I am for someone who is doing so well with their Facebook ads, seeing I don't even remember if that slide was still in there. I guess it was, seeing your profit spike up over the last 3 years. just to over 20,000 a month in sales. Just to be able to share that knowledge willingly in this spirit of giving is just so awesome. So I definitely hope you guys will take Alana up on her offer.
Absolutely. Yeah. So
All
in the
right.
spirit of generous giving, yeah, let's see how many questions we can knock out.
So how long is the course? Asked Polly.
So when you enroll for the course, you get it all right there. Some people will choose to kind of just binge it, set aside maybe like 2 weeks to just focus on that. But the course itself, you can do at your own pace. And if you do the $6.99 option to get into the intensive, that's going to be a 6-week process where we're going to walk you basically start through finish through everything that's in the course.
Sherry asks, if you can't make it to a live training on the mastermind, will there be replays?
Yep, absolutely. And I send those out usually within like an hour from when it ends.
If what's your ROI been on your ads? To put it simply, how much do you make for each dollar you spend? Asks Jocelyn.
I try to at least make sure that I'm doubling what I spend. So for every buck I put into ads, I'm trying to make sure I'm getting at least $2 back.
Awesome. Can you contact Facebook with questions when you are running ads?
Some people have like their own personal Facebook rep. Like if you spend tens of thousands of dollars, they might reach out to you. But in general, I actually have never contacted Facebook support on my own. So I don't know how hard it is to contact them.
Got it. All right. Questions, so many. If someone has not yet finished their book, does it make sense for them to join your course at this time?
I think it depends on how close you are to finishing. I would say like if you're going to have it wrapped up and ready to publish, by the end of summer, then absolutely. All of these things are things that you can be thinking about right now. If you're not close to that publishing point, then I would say it's best to focus your energy on getting that book written before you think too much about how you're going to market it.
Is the information in this course also applicable to other Facebook ads, like not just fiction, but if someone runs a fiction business and then sells services or products on the side, could they apply the same information?
Absolutely. And it's actually a lot easier to make a higher profit selling services and things. Like if you think about a $3.99 or a $4.99 ebook, it's hard to make a profit with that. So if you're selling even like, a super quick video training for $30, you're going to have way better margin of profit. So yes, the information is going to be exactly the same for like setting up your audiences and things like that. And actually you're going to have an easier time making a profit if you have a higher priced offer that you're selling.
Denali asks, do you use screen shares in your videos or screenshots?
Screen shares normally,
Okay.
yeah. So normally what I'm going to do in the live trainings in the mastermind is just open up my dashboard and say, here's what we're doing today, guys. And so you can see like everything all at once instead of just here's this box that shows you this button.
Can Facebook ads be used for erotic romance books as long as the photos and headlines are not within that forbidden images or texts category?
In general, yes. However, yes, if you've got something like that, you need to make sure that your images are decently family friendly and that your headline doesn't use like really the naughty words. And then the only other problem that you might run into is sometimes Facebook does look at the page that you're sending people to. And if you're sending people, like if your Amazon description has like a lot of profanity, then you might not. Facebook might eventually get upset with that. But yes, if you write erotica, it's possible. You just need to be careful about having not too offensive of a headline or image. Basically, you want it to be so, if Brian is scrolling Facebook and his little girl Riley comes in, that he's not going to, have to hide the screen.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Fortunately, there are very few things I look at that I have to hide the screen. But Annalise asks, this is a cool question. Did you take a course to learn all of this Facebook info that you know, or did you teach yourself trial and error?
I took a course that was designed for the word was mamapreneur. So it was kind of for like work at home moms. A lot of people in the course I took were actually like selling things on Etsy. So I took that course and basically just made the adaptations that I needed to in order to apply it to book selling specifically. And at the time, I think I paid $6.99 for that course. It was the very first online course I ever purchased. I was so nervous. I was so worried I was going to have buyer's remorse. I think it was the biggest purchase I had made to date because, you know, even for covers, I think like 500 was my max. And yeah, it was absolutely life-changing. That's why I'm so excited to give you guys a similar, just life-changing experience, start to finish, and talking specifically to authors about how you can sell your books with Facebook ads.
This is such a good question. How do you know you're making money through your ads? You say you shoot for $2 for each $1 spent. What are you using to determine that that's happening?
So there's a couple different ways you can do it. Some people use Amazon affiliate links so that they can see exactly how many sales are coming from their ad. There's a couple downsides to that, including Amazon doesn't really want you doing that.
Yeah, we
Some
actually
people,
got a few questions about whether or not you recommend using
okay,
affiliate.
well, let's dive into that real quick. I cannot, in good conscience, stand up here and say that I recommend using your Amazon affiliate links because it is against the Amazon affiliate terms of service. But I can also tell you that the data you get if you do choose to use your Amazon affiliate link is very, very useful. And very, very many authors do use Amazon affiliate links. And this does not, as of May 27th, 2020, appear to be something that Amazon cracks down on. So many authors do it. I just don't feel comfortable standing up here endorsing going against the terms of service.
Yeah, and I feel the same way about a lot of those kinds of things for
Yeah,
sure.
but let's go back to the other question about how do you know if it's
Yes.
profitable? And Brian, I learned this exactly from you.
Hey,
I look at
hey.
I look at how much money I spent in ads on a book, and I see how much money I brought in from that series, and that's how I measure my profit.
Very nice. I am happy to hear that. Awesome. Let's take a few more before we jump into the screen share.
Great.
Let's see. Several comments on my daughter.
Aw.
Lots of people saying this is excellent. All right. Permafree versus KU versus 99-cent book one versus 2.99 book one. Where do you fall on that whole spectrum? Asks Richard.
I am not in KU, and I usually price my books at $4.99. One of the things that we talked about a lot is this sense of feeling empowered and confident in your writing career. And for me, a $4.99 price point and sometimes a $3.99 price point is what makes me feel the most confident, knowing that my books are worth this. And that's where I fall. I'll do short promos, but interestingly, even when, so for example, like I've got a BookBub featured deal in about a week scheduled. I'm planning on hitting that hard with Facebook ads, but I am not going to mention that the book is 99 cents in my ad anywhere. Basically, I want my ads to get people so excited about this book, regardless of the price, that when they click on my ad and go to the Amazon sales page and see that it's only 99 cents, that's kind of icing on the top of the cake. So one thing, I think Facebook ads work great at many, many price points. I'll let you know it's easier to make a profit if your book is at least $3.99, but not for sure impossible to do it at lower price points. So that's kind of where I fall in there. Again,
Awesome.
you want the you want the exciting part of your ad to be the book itself and not the price point. So that's why I don't
Mhm.
emphasize the price in my ad copy and headlines.
I love that. That's so great. And I just wanted to remind people you can pick up, I just posted the link in the chat again. You can pick up the course or bundle today. It looks like a fair number of people are jumping in on that, which is wonderful. And we did have several people from that area in Michigan who sent you their love here in the chat. So
Fabulous. Well,
that
thank you
is really
guys.
wonderful. Kind of a repeat question that came up a couple times. If you got a standalone, if you have 1 or 2 books, Facebook ads, wait. What do you do while you're waiting? If that's the answer, what do you think?
Yeah, so I have had success advertising certain standalone books on Facebook. And one of the fast action bonuses that you get when you sign up, like right now before this webinar ends, is that 5 Facebook ad case study. 2 of those actually are for standalone books. So it absolutely is possible to make profit on a standalone novel. Both of the ones that I mentioned are $4.99. It's for sure easier to make a profit if you've got a whole series, but I do not think that you need to wait until you have a series to dive into the ads.
And I'm going to ask one more question because Susan, I know you felt left out in the cold. There are a lot of questions here. Trust me, yours is not the only one that hasn't been answered yet. Do you have any suggestions on how to grab an audience when it's maybe a kid's book and you're not actually advertising to the kids? How do you grab parents' attention? And I guess this could be the same for middle grade, for children's educational workbooks. How do you get the parents who have the credit cards, how do you get them to see your ad?
So a lot of that is going to be in who you target. So you're going to want to target people who are parents of children in the right age range that you're talking about. There is a selection called engaged shoppers, and I would recommend you also select that. So basically you're going to be targeting parents whose kids are the right age for your books, who are engaged shoppers, which just means that they shop online. And I would also include parents who love to read. This is where that slide I showed with targets like Goodreads and the New York Times bestseller list, I would put a bunch of those into a detailed targeting section because, as I know Brian knows, parents who love to read love reading to their kids. And then I wouldn't even just do parents. I would for sure try an audience of grandparents. I would also even try an audience of maybe librarians. There are school teachers is another great one that I would recommend.
That's so smart. All right, we delayed a little bit on the screen share. So the first screen share ad you have to set up. We have to start from step 1.
Okay.
And the first one has to be nonfiction.
Nonfiction. All right. Do you want to give me the book? If we could do like an improv game.
Yeah, exactly. All right. We are going to do a book that is for getting out of debt.
Getting out of debt. Okay. And the one thing we want to be careful of is that it doesn't sound like a get rich quick scheme because Facebook doesn't like those. All right. So our campaign is auction traffic. That's the default.
You were so ready. You had this little non-fic ready. I love it.
I am so ready. This sounds really, really fun. Okay. I'm not going to bother changing the budget and stuff. We're just going to build the audience. So getting out of debt. I'm going to target women, and I'm going to assume that younger women aren't caring as much about debt. So let's target
Alana,
women.
can you zoom in a tiny bit? I know on a Mac it's Command
sorry,
plus.
no,
If you
I don't.
can't, oh, that's okay.
I don't think I have the know-how. Sorry,
Oh,
I will tell you exactly what
worry.
I'm doing though. So I'm targeting women who are aged 35 to 50. And now I'm going to go to detailed targeting. So let's see. First, we want people who read ebooks, right? So I'm selecting ebooks, and I'm just going to hit suggestions and do this really fast. Amazon Kindle, ebook readers, Amazon, no, not Amazon.com. That's too broad. Okay, pretend that I have put in here all of the e-reading interests that we talked about previously. Okay, now I'm hitting narrow audience. Let's see. I have no idea who the financial gurus are. Let's see. I know there's Dave Ramsey.
Dave Ramsey, and then there's a woman who has been around for like 30 years.
I know who you're talking about. Let's see. So here's this. I put in Dave Ramsey.
Susie Orman.
You. Yes. I don't know if it's Susie with a Z.
I think it's S-U. There we go.
There we go. All right. So now I've got 2, and I'm going to hit suggestions to see what else
there
comes
we go.
up.
Kawasaki. Yep.
Yeah. Let's do Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And okay. So
while you're doing this, notice it's these influencers. It's like this is how you get the nonfiction people.
Yeah. And this suggestions button is very helpful. All right, so now I have people who read ebooks who like either Dave Ramsey, Rich Dad Poor Dad, or Susie Orman. Now I'm going to click narrow further. And I saw one of these in the suggestions. So they're interested in personal finance. Now I'm going to hit suggestions. They're also interested in maybe money management. I think I'll skip investment because I think that some people who want to get out of debt are thinking about that more than investment. Maybe credit cards, right? Maybe
Ooh,
they've
I
got
like that. Trying to
credit cards.
reconsolidate. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And now I'm just going to be kind of funny. I'm going to narrow further, and I'm
How
going to
many
target
narrows do you
people.
have now? About
Right
6?
now I have, nope, just 3. So
Oh,
ebook
okay.
readers, influencers, and the topic. And now just for fun, I'm going to select this engaged shoppers because these are people who shop a lot online and maybe even have buyer's remorse from shopping online.
How
All right.
much can you X out of that? How much did that change the reach? Because we're at 880.
So we were
So
at
that split it in half
1.6
just about.
million. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Which also means that if they're engaged shoppers, they're going to be more likely to buy a book online. So engaged shoppers. All right, super quick recap. They like ebooks. They follow an influencer in the field. They're interested in the topic and they're engaged shoppers. We're going to make them an ad real quick. I won't go through all of this. I'll just kind of show you where it is. So my headline, I don't want to do that like pain point headline. I don't want to say, are you in so much debt that you feel like, banging your head against the wall? That's negative. That's bad. Facebook doesn't like it. I don't like it. You don't want people to have a negative feeling. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to images and I'm going to.
And if anyone wants to start getting their fiction subgenre ready for the next screen share, we'll do a fiction one, then we'll answer a few more questions.
All right, so I'm typing into stock photos. Since I'm targeting women, I want to find a woman on a beach. That's what I'm typing into the stock photos search. Whoops, my computer froze for a minute. So I'm going to find a super relaxing picture of a woman.
We don't want woman on woman. We want woman on beach.
Nope.
Not for a financial ad.
Yeah. Not for a financial ad. All right, so a woman on a beach is going to have a very cozy, inviting feel. My headline's going to say something like, okay, and I don't want to do like the swimsuit thing. I just want to do I am relaxed, I am debt-free, I am happy. So for nonfiction, what you want is an image that's going to reflect how your book can help them feel. So like if it's a parenting book, you can try a picture of a super happy family, right? So look how happy she is. And then the headline, I'm going to make sure that people know it's a book dealing with debt. So I'm not as great coming with these off the top of my head, but just off the top of my head. So like the best get out of debt book you've ever read. All right, so it's really clear that it's a book because I also have the word read as well as the word book because I don't want people to think that I'm offering financial coaching or anything like that. Maybe I'm even going to add this into quotes so it looks like someone's saying it. And then, yeah, my primary text is going to focus on how great someone's going to feel being out of debt. I'm not going to focus on the negative aspect of, are you in so much debt that you're losing sleep at night? I'm going to say, imagine the feeling that you feel when you wake up and you look at your balances and you realize that you are debt-free for the first time in 20 years or,
It's fun. I would refer to this as a transformational benefit. We use that kind of in our nonfiction writing. It's how it's the emotion people feel once they achieve the thing from your book.
Yes. All right. So that is our get out of debt rapid fire walkthrough. What's next?
Okay. Let's do, I really liked Honey's suggestion of sci-fi romance.
Sci-fi romance. Okay. Need to tell you guys, I don't know tons of sci-fi authors, so I might need you guys to help me some. So let's keep these ebook sections here. And let's start with just science fiction. Let me show you something here. If I put science fiction here and romance novels here in the same detailed targeting section, what I'm telling Facebook is find me people who either like science fiction or romance. That's not what I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have science fiction is one option. Oh,
Looks like stuff
wow.
got funky because this is the study of science fiction
Yep.
rather than the actual
That's
interest.
way too small.
Whoops.
Yep. Glad we caught that. Science fiction, fields of study. No, science
I wonder if
fiction
it's
movies.
sci-fi.
Could
I wonder
be
if it's sci-fi.
sci-fi. Nope. Okay, let me show you something you can do though. We ran into a snafu, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with
I love
romance.
Snafus live. It's the best.
I know, aren't they fun? Well, you're the one
Mhm.
with the improv practice. You should be doing this. All right. So I
I
selected
know.
romance novels. I'm also going to pick people who like science fiction movies. Okay. So these are people who read romance novels who also watch science fiction movies. I still have a really huge audience here. It's over 3 million. So now I'm going to go to narrow further. I'm going to put in some science fiction authors. Yikes, help me out. Is Brandon Sanderson science fiction or fantasy?
Fantasy.
He's
All right,
fantasy.
everybody, help us out.
I
Let's
got
get.
it. The Martian book is one of the ones on here, I know. So look, I
Yes.
put in The Martian. I don't want to select the film for this. I want to
Yeah.
select the novel. Okay, and now I'm going to go to suggestions.
Orson Scott Card.
Right.
Let's see. We haven't gotten any that came in yet.
That's okay. There we go. Okay, and
Then
let's
we
see
can
what
do some
suggestions
suggestions.
does. Not
Ernest
super.
Klein, maybe.
Okay.
We can go with Ernest Klein.
All right. Neil Gaiman.
Neil,
He
I
kind of
would
does a
say
little of everything,
fantasy.
right? Okay.
I would say
All right.
fantasy. Oh, we have a Riley appearance. So you keep going.
All right. So, okay, now it's a little too small. Now it's only 3,000 people. So what I need to do, I think what I'm going to do is, in addition to science fiction movies, I'm going to add these people here. So basically, the ideal audience is going to watch science fiction movies or follow one of these science fiction authors. And if I had more time, I could find more authors as an option. But now, here's what my audience is. It's ebook readers who read romance novels, who also like science fiction. It's still a big audience. It's still over 3 million. So
Now
now
everything came in. Ray Bradbury, Douglas Adams.
let's see, Ray.
See if we can narrow and see what comes up.
Ray Bradbury. What was the Douglas one?
And Douglas Adams.
There we go. Awesome.
Yeah, so several of those old time, big time folks came in. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Now, let's also add some romance authors. I'm a little more familiar with these. So I know Debbie May Comer is one. So I put her in and I'm just going to go to suggestions. Let's do Nora Roberts, Nicholas Sparks, and Danielle Steele. Okay, so
this
now
really
I'm at that
fun.
sweet spot. Yeah, so I have an audience of 230,000 people. It's a good size audience who like to read ebooks, who like romance novels, who also like science fiction, and who follow these romance authors. For the ad, I would find a way in the headline to try to incorporate both. So let's say that it is kind of a steamy book. So like your headline could be steamy sci-fi readers can't put down. So that's 2 genre keywords right here. We got steamy and sci-fi. And we're also making it clear that it's a book because we have readers. Or if, let's say it's not steamy, let's say like heartwarming romance ... on a spaceship ? Because that's doing that's inciting the curiosity. And let's add novel. Let's add novel so people know we're not talking about a TV show or something. So heartwarming romance novel on a spaceship would kind of incite that curiosity.
While you're playing with the images, you can start doing some searching. I am going to just remind everybody, if you're watching live, if you're watching the replay, we're about right when we sign off will be the end of the 30-minute fast action bonus. So if you want to pick out the bonus and you want to join one of Alana's programs, we've seen several, we've seen over a dozen people joining just today on the live. You can go to courses.alanaterry.com/bundle, and I just posted it in the chat.
All right.
Looking for a pretty astronaut? I might have lost you for a second here. We might have taxed Alana's system
So I am waiting for the
there
search
we
term
go.
pretty astronaut. I have no idea. We might have
tried to do too much here.
maybe I'll just help you for it. Sort of what you would picture as a good cover for this. Can you hear me?
Okay. We had some delays, but I think we're back in sync.
Am I gone?
We're pretty close to in sync.
Hi there. You can hear me? Okay. I am talking.
Yes, we can hear you.
Let's see. Okay, fabulous. So what I would look for is probably like a picture set on a spaceship with like a pretty woman, or maybe even like the image adapted from your cover would probably work well for an image for this.
Awesome. Well, this is super helpful, Alana. Let's get back to, you can throw back the slides. We can, for those of you who didn't get to see a screen share of yours, your particular genre, we will maybe try to do this one every year. We can definitely try to get some more Facebook fun every year.
Sure.
We are going to send out the slides and the video tomorrow, and I just wanted to see if we had any other last questions to throw in there. So a lot of people were talking about, Alana, that not a lot, but a handful of people said when they looked at their ad dashboard, it looked slightly different. Is there any reason why their dashboard would look a little bit different than yours?
There is the one thing with guided creation. Some of it is just Facebook changes dashboards all the time. It's all going to be roughly the same. The one thing that's going to make it look really different is if you're in the guided creation mode. As long as you're not in the, you want to be in quick creation to follow the screen shares that I'm doing. But yeah, Facebook just randomly changes things. They roll new things out. So again, the important things to remember are just the distinction between your campaigns, your ad sets, and your ads. And basically, by the time you get into create the ad, it's going to be similar at the very least in here. And yeah, just keep in mind, Facebook changes things all the time. I'd say that's just another good plug for the mastermind, is because you're going to be getting the most up to date right there. And if your screen does look different, we can jump on a quick, even screen share, and I can show you right where things are.
I'm going to take a couple more questions. Are you able to stay 2 or 3 minutes past the top of the hour, Alana?
Yeah, this is great.
Great. Kyra asked, what determines whether or not an author shows up in the interest targeting? The number of likes or followers? Does an author have to have a certain amount?
Yeah, it's not quite the likes and followers. It really is pretty random. I know even like 2 years ago when I was starting with Facebook ads, 3 years ago when I was brand new, there were actually even more authors that we were allowed to target than there are now. There's not a ton of rhyme or reason to it, other than just keep in mind, Facebook is always going to choose the big household names, most well-known authors. Think about type of authors you're going to see their books in the checkout line at the grocery store, not the indie overnight success.
Julie asks, have you ever used Facebook to advertise audiobooks? Is it a good idea?
I have. There are several different audience options for that. So what I would do is, when you're in your ad set and you want to target for audiobook listeners, I would do some of these selections. There's Audible as a selection. You can also do audiobooks. And then another one that seems to work really, really well are people who listen to podcasts, because if you're somebody who listens to podcasts, and you're probably, someone who already likes the audio format. So these are the detailed targeting interests that I would suggest if you're advertising an audiobook specifically.
That's perfect. And I know from being a good friend of Chris Fox, he really loves using his box set, his audio box set, promoting the heck out of that on Facebook, and then running, ads to that, and of course promoting the box set on Amazon using ads there. He has had a lot of success there, and if you really want to make a play at audio, Facebook ads can be a huge way to do it.
Absolutely. Here's one more thing that I do. Here's an example of one ad I have running. So down here, when I have the wide stores, I also include the Audible link. I've noticed that even when I advertise the ebook, the audiobook sales go up. And so having the Audible link right here is just one more way to make it really easy for people who are looking for the audiobook version.
Mara asks, can you like practice ads, like you create them and you set them up without giving Facebook your credit card, or is that kind of step one?
I believe you can. It's actually been so long since I connected my billing that I don't remember. I'm pretty sure that you can go all the way up to, like when your ad's totally done, you click publish. Don't hold me to this, but I would assume, just
I'm
based
going
on
to
what I
hold you
remember
to it.
from,
You're being held. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
I'm going to assume that you can go all the way up to clicking publish before you have to give them your credit card. But then the other thing to remember is even if you have to put in a number at the beginning, you don't get charged until you do hit this publish button.
Rose asks, when you're linking to a series, do you do to a book or to a box set? And how many ads should you run when you're doing this? How long do you run them?
So I've tried both. My box sets are at $9.99, which is a little bit high for a cold audience. So I send people to book one. But what I do, and I'm going to pull up an ad to show you, is I talk up, even though this ad is for book one, if they click on here, they're going to be taken to book one in the series. But I talk up the series, not the book. So the headline is the unforgettable Christian suspense series readers love. And I can see my data, like for every 10 people who buy book one, about 1.5 or 2 people actually buy every single book in the series right away. So I talk up the whole series. So find out why readers are calling these novels, blah, blah, blah. Just be careful, because once you start reading, you won't want to stop. I think in one of my ads, I even said something like, once you read book one, you're not going to want to stop till you've read the whole series. So buy the series today. So yeah, what I would suggest is send people to book one, but talk up the whole series.
Linda asks if there's any live support or interaction in the courses.
Yeah, so all the courses come with a students only Facebook group, but the deep dives and live calls and things are going to be for the mastermind itself. So in the Facebook group, which you get if you purchase any of these options today, that's where you can throw up questions like, hey, I forget if we should do guided creation or quick creation, and I'll respond to that. The mastermind is where it's going to be, hey guys, let's jump on a Zoom call, let's do a screen share, let's dive really deep into this.
All right, I'm going to answer one last question. And then I just want to remind everybody, you can pick up this offer today. It runs through Sunday night. And let's just definitely thank Alana for the wonderful amount of time. I have this reputation, Alana, for making my webinar partner stay beyond 2 hours. And I appreciate you being game for it. So
it's been fun.
Good. Sarah asked, when you're running ads to a pre-order book, and I did see another question, is it a good idea to run ads to a pre-order book? But Sarah asked, how early do you start running those kinds of pre-order ads?
Yeah, fabulous question. I have 2 reasons that I would run an ad to a pre-order book. Neither of them are to sell the pre-order book. So what I would do is I often run ads to test out different covers. So let me show you. Sorry if this makes you dizzy as I'm scrolling really fast through these.
Oh,
So hope you guys took your Dramamine. Maybe it's too far back for me to get to. Ah,
where are you trying to get to again?
trying to get to the one with my book cover. So here we go. Nope,
Everyone
too
close
far
your
back.
eyes.
So sorry, it's too far back, but now I feel so committed. Okay, never mind. Um, for example, I had two book covers that the only difference between them was the image of the model on the cover, and I wanted to know which was going to do best.
Here,
So
exit out of your screen, exit out of your PowerPoint, and then you'll get back to the full list of slides.
you are
Then you
so
can
smart,
scroll.
Brian. It's like you've
I'm,
done these
it's
before.
almost like I've done a webinar before. Yeah,
Here we go.
perfect.
This is the book specifically I'm talking about. The cover was exactly the same with two different models. So what I did was I created an ad image with a mock-up of cover one and a mock-up of cover two. I sent it to my warm audience, which was just people who have been to my website or on my newsletter list, and I measured the click-through rates from one to the other. I've also done this with book description. So if I have two different Amazon description options, I will run both of them as two different Facebook ads and see which one gets me the higher click-through rate. And that's what I will choose to use as my Amazon description. So the one time I would use pre-orders with ads would be if I wanted to test something like the description or the cover. The other time I would run pre-order ads is if I just wanted to see what kind of ads are going to get me like the most clicks. And so that's my warm audience. So for example, one of these ads that I just pulled up had like, okay, here's one that's got a lot of social proof already. 782 reactions, 123 comments, 176 shares. If I wanted to have a big launch, what I would do is I would run Facebook ads to the pre-order, but run it as an engagement campaign, which means that Facebook is going to show it to people who are most likely to leave a comment or something like that. And I would do the same thing. I would run it to my warm audience who's either on my email list or has been to my website recently in order to kind of get my ad ready to show to a cold audience. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, so then when you create the new ad, do you send it to the existing post? How does that work?
Yes. So then what you do is you can send this exact same ad to a different audience and keep all of your likes and shares and comments. And those can really kind of build excitement and momentum and just make your book look wildly popular.
Perfect. I love it when things look wildly popular. And I think your course is about to be wildly popular. So everybody, last chance for, while you're watching this video, courses.alanaterry.com/bundle. Lots of great options there. Let's give it up for Alana Terry for being here, for sharing everything. Alana, what is the best email to reach you at? There were several people who had asked
Yep.
for that.
The best email is coach@alanaterry.com. It's slightly better than sending me a message on Facebook. I love Facebook ads. I don't love Facebook as a platform. So best way to get in touch with me is coach@alanaterry.com.
Wonderful. And anyone who feels like they had a burning question they weren't able to get, go to coach@alanaterry.com, send Alana a message. But you were just so awesome today. We had some tech slowdowns, some Riley jump-ins, but you ran you ran with it, and people are really appreciative. Judy and Jennifer and Danita and Kathy and Marsha's clapping, Morticia, Sharita. Gemma says the best webinar I've ever watched. So I think you have achieved some of your goals with this class.
Well, thank you, Brian, and thank you to everyone for being here. This was so just exciting for me and energizing for me because this truly is a passion, is helping other people find the same degree of confidence and success. So yeah, thanks and gratitude all around to everybody.
Definitely. I feel exactly the same way. We'll close things out today. I will send out this replay and I'll give it to you, Alana, to send out. And we will
Awesome.
get this and the slides to you as soon as humanly possible. Until then, have a safe, healthy, and happy rest of your day, night, or morning. And we will see you soon. And to everyone who joined the course today, I can't wait to see what you learn from Alana when you have even more than 2 hours of time to spend. So thank you, take care, and have a great night.